Aw, Juggernaut, you're my favorite.
What? Don't be a clanker. Order from Dorkside Toys.
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, let's take a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Deluxe Wrecker. Or if you're a young female defective clone who has run away with a group of battle-hardened adult defective clones, Wrecker. But I've been looking forward to this since the Bad Batch has been on for a little while now. When I got Hunter and Crosshair, the show hadn't started, so our only exposure to them were the couple of episodes from Clone Wars Season 7. Now that we're watching along with the series, I have a lot more appreciation for those two figures and a lot more excitement for this. Looking at the package, like I said, this is a deluxe release, so it's bigger. You need more room to fit more plastic. That's just physics. I'm not liking the plain gray background. It's just boring, I guess. But it does help the figure stand out from the rest of the package, so there's that peg appeal. Plus, trash around plastic. I want the toy. Red for the Bad Batch comes around to some artwork of Wrecker. On the back, bigger picture, bio, includes figure and 4 accessories, warning, small parts. Don't put the pretty action figure in your talk hole. On the other side, I miss the big font still, even though it's been a while. Star Wars The Black Series logo on top, the window to allow light to shine down into it. Does Fortunate Son need to play right now? On the bottom, UPC, more legalese, some logos, but let's get this open, see what's going on here. And I think we've established at this point that the bottom is always the best way to go. The top has several more pieces of tape, which is what, another 2 seconds of work to get into it, but the bottom has one piece. You just flip it open easily. What's going on here? Tray.
That's a knife.
Oh, and it's everything I wanted it to be. Because of Wrecker's size and design and everything, and the higher price point of the Deluxe, we do get an all-new sculpt here. And it is beautiful. The upper torso, at first you think it's like the rest of the Bad Batch, where it's just a sculpted piece, but there's actually a chest under this, and this is a soft overlay. It does move around, get out of the way, whether it's arms or head or wherever you need it to go. In fact, it even helps a bit with the torso articulation. That's sculpted accurate to his look in the show. It comes down to some abs. It's that same uniform look with the rest of the Bad Batch with the lines running through. You can see little scratch marks in there too. The waist has a couple of what I'm assuming are pouches on the side. Leg armor, again, just, well, I was going to say a little wear, but there is quite a bit of wear there. Wrecker's the brute force. He's doing the running through. He's doing the heavy lifting, so his armor's going to show more wear and tear. Knee pads, separate piece, glued at the top. Coming down to the shins, the sculpted front with the red line going down, and then some different shoes than the rest. Here we see a leather material and a seam line running down the middle. Nice design where the sole meets and then coming down. Not a whole sole, but enough. Knife sheath on the right side. The hands have that proper armor piece on the back with kind of a knuckle duster look to it. The motif of the armor carried on with the gauntlets running down. There's this part poking out back here that goes more uniform when you straighten it out, but it's armor. Bicep armor, same scratches, same pit marks, and you know, just roughness to it. Shoulder pads are the same as what we've been seeing recently, a softer material. It's attached by a ring that is wedged between the shoulder and the butterfly joint. And I love it because it moves with the armor, but I've noticed on Wrecker, you get to about right here and it seems to want to stick. It wants to stay in place. You have to continue the arm around, and I don't want to pull on it too much. It's thinner right there where it attaches to the ring. I bring it back around and go to the front. It stops about right there. But am I going to rotate the arm any further than this? It gets the arm all the way up, so I can't gripe too much about it. On the back, pretty plain, which is okay. This is going to be covered up. Looks like he's been attacked from behind a couple times. I forgot to mention the black undersuit. Has some wrinkles up here at the hips that you can see behind it, also behind the knee, and then at the elbow. The wrinkles run across the articulation even. It's not a flat plane. For paintwork, there's the red stripes running in places on the front of the pouches, on the front of the leg. I like that it looks a little bit rough right there, like it was just thrown on, or it's been worn down through battle. Red on the sheath also adds a little bit of blue right there. The tampos for the Clone Force 99 with the skull on the shoulder. It took me a minute to realize that that's 99. I love the symmetrical look of that logo. Also red going up around the collar piece. But what I like more is the silver peeking through at edges. It's got some scrapes, some scuffs here and there. It just shows a little bit more damage to it. They hit all the right high points on the armor pieces to make sure that it looks A little realistic. Not so much on the back, though. They kind of focus it all on the front. But you can see more of that realism up at the head, where they've come in, did the photo real on the eyes, the mouth, kind of the shading to the front of the face. I think out of the 3 Bad Batch members we've had so far, Wrecker is the most accurate. It helps that he has some unique design work to his head. You can see the sculpt of the scars radiating from the ear. I'd like to see it with some color on it. It's just not prominent enough, because in the show, you notice it. You can see it right off the bat. In fact, you can see some damage to the ear in the cartoon, and we don't see that here. But the eye is widened out, and that's half the battle, because when you look at him in the face, yeah, it's definitely Wrecker. Kind of reminds me of Blofeld, though. I'm trying to find some negatives to go through, and I'm not seeing a lot. Yeah, I wish there was double elbows, but again, they've been moving away from those. Same with the knees. I do see gripes about the knee pads being attached at the top and them not actually working like knee pads when you bend the leg. For me, having them on top, when you bend it, you don't see the actual articulation point. It's blocking the joint. Because 90% of the time, you're looking down on it. You're not looking up at it. Of course, whenever you do this, you can see the articulation point if you have them down on one knee. I guess there's an argument for both positions. And perfect world, again, double joints, the knee floats and it goes wherever you want it to go. Take that as you will. That's my big nitpick here. Or, you know, whatever. Articulation-wise, kind of impressive for a bigger guy. There's that new style dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a ball at the bottom. You can get up and look down. Look at this import quality tilt. Swivels around. In fact, look at that. Everywhere and anywhere. Butterfly at the shoulder gets you forward and back. Past that is a hinge at the shoulder, gets you up to 90. Like we talked about a minute ago, it rotates up. You got to kind of hold on to the shoulder pad, allow it to ride with it. There is a hinge and swivel at the elbow, comes up past 90 and then rotates. Swivel at the wrist and then up and down for a trigger finger hand. So good. Side to side on the left. Ball joint mid-torso, and oh, because of that floating overlay, I think it left more room for movement because look at that hula hoop action. You also get some rotation out of that. Ball coming out to the hip, comes up, goes back, out, not shabby. Swivel hidden beautifully by the top of the armor. Hinge and swivel at the knee, comes up to there. There will be no ass kicking. Swivel, hinge at the ankle goes back. You give it a little flex, it'll pop on top of that armor, goes all the way down, goes forward a bit, forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, comes with this big honking knife, has silver on the blade, serrated on the back side, gray down here at the handle. And I say big, look at it compared to a standard size clone. You can put it in his right trigger finger hand. It is slightly loose unless you find that sweet spot though. They did make the left hand better for this grip. Even though there's not an up and down hinge to this hand, it looks like he's holding it out. Or if you're not wanting him to hold it, there's the sheath on the right leg. There's also this blaster. It's the same blaster we got with Hunter. I can't remember if they've used it before, but this is Bad Batch appropriate. It ends up looking a little bit small, push, twist, but everything's gonna look small when it's in Wrecker's hands. You can even get a two-handed blaster pose. There's also this backpack, lots of nice little sculpt. It still has an animated feel to it, but at the same time, it fits the aesthetic. Peg is a T-shape. Just plugs into the back. That's where backpacks go. Like a glove, or well, a backpack, I guess. Does it throw off his balance? No, he's a big boy. I mean, this isn't a huge figure, but because of the weight of it, backpack's not adding much. Then there's my favorite. It's Wrecker's helmet. Sculpt-wise, it looks fairly accurate to his bucket. I mean, it has those eyes, almost tank-like slots for eyes. Have the two studs sticking out or whatever they are, and then a couple of other sculptural details, but a lot of it, I don't want to say hidden by paint because the paint looks accurate too. It may be smudgy here and there, and the design itself is overemphasized, I think. But again, bringing it into the real world where it looks like some paint drips and some rough edges. Overall, this completely works. Even better, because of the size of Wrecker, it doesn't seem huge when you get it on his head. That was a couple of my big gripes with Crosshair and Hunter. The helmets looked big, but you get Wrecker's helmet on and it just works overall. Also helps that this overlay comes up kind of like Juggernaut. He has that seated position for the helmet to fit almost perfect there. You still get some movement. Of course it's going to get in the way a little bit, but not a problem. Wrecker stands at 6 3/8 inches tall, which does put him appropriately larger than the rest of the Bad Batch we've gotten so far. And like I said, I do think that Hunter and Crosshair's helmets are slightly large, even though it doesn't bother me as much now that we're into the show and it's kind of the style there. But Wrecker's, oh man, looks fantastic on him. And this looks great. I need more Bad Batch. Also looks good with other deluxe releases like Zeb and Jar Jar. He can put a hurting on standard size clones like the new school body and the old school body. Well, this is actually a mix, isn't it, with the double knees and the single elbows? But can still pal around with the Black Series Rex and Ahsoka. Even fits in with your figure arts Jedi like Anakin and Obi-Wan. Or absolutely runs through the clankas like the SH Figure Arts Battle Droid and the Black Series version. So at the end of the day, oh, so good. Yes, it's a deluxe price, but you get so much here. Well, okay, maybe not so much, but it's all new sculpt. It's nicely integrated articulation. It looks fantastic with the rest of the crew. It looks fantastic by itself. As I've messed with it, I've realized that it's not as agile as the smaller figures. But again, he's a big, bulky guy. Bulk gets in the way sometimes. But even with all that bulk, he can get into some great action poses. And honestly, back when they started the Bad Batch with Hunter and Crosshair, I figured Wrecker would be last. It's a big, brawny, unique look, and you know how most companies are. They would have pushed that off as long as they could. So I commend Hasbro for going for it. Again, it is deluxe, so we're paying for that unique sculpting, but I'd rather them get it out than have an incomplete team. And I say that with no announcement of Echo at this point. That's a whole nother discussion for later when I get Tech and then when they announce Echo. Right now, Wrecker, go get them. If you like the Bad Batch, you like clones, you like this era of Star Wars, you're going to need Wrecker. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, let's catch you on the Fwoosh. And this is one of those figures that I knew I would like, and you knew I would like, but I like it more than I predicted I would. I figured it would be a little bit more stiff, more of a background piece for the rest of the Bad Batch figures, but this is going to be the centerpiece. He gets down and gets dirty. Now I have to decide helmet on, helmet off, knife, gun. Oh, so many decisions to be made.